do you think of that little jingle? Is that
like
fun?
it. Yeah.
Kind of just brings up excitement. Like, let's go. Let's do something good. Let's do something positive. Welcome to a muzzled chat. We're going to kick this back off. Why not? Now, listeners, this episode was even a surprise to me. And it just came... It's no coincidence to how this man has come to sit across from me here today. I want to say, God, he's behind the scenes making things happen, and it's so beautiful and it's so exciting. Now, Bill here, what a strong man, because I mean, we could even dive into it. I met you just randomly at this business convention over this previous weekend.
Yes.
And I barely get there, and he's talking to two amazing ladies I know, and they're just hitting it off. And I could just see this energy coming from you and them, and just this beautiful encounter. And I just kind of seamlessly insert myself into the conversation, and I was blessed because here you were basically pouring your heart out to, like, attributing so many things to God and saving your life and life challenges, and just instantly felt blessed in your presence because you as a man had no fear in showing emotion, showing just real raw life experience. And I was touched, and it moved me, and I'm like, wow, we could join forces and help other people.
Good.
I mean,
that's my goal actually in life. You know, I've always thought about doing something where maybe even starting a corporation or just a group or something about changing lives, because you know what? I've had somebody looked out for me and gave me opportunities, and maybe I could do the same for others.
100%. Wow. Whatever we could do here on Muzzled Chat to support that, champion that, get behind that, we're here. We're here.
All right. I'm excited.
The world needs that, Bill. We need you. We need this corporation yesterday. As much as we could do.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
But, yeah, why don't you just dive in and tell us a little about yourself as to whatever you feel like, touching on.
Okay.
Just out the gate.
Well, I was born in Mesa, raised in Chandler. I actually went to Chandler High School before Streetlight, so you can kind of show my age a little bit.
There we go.
But I was raised by a nice LDS family.
Okay.
Yeah. And, they've done their best to try to show me the right way to live in and stuff like that, and of course I'm a kid that never listens.
Right.
I'm very opinionated, and I think I could do everything on my own, right?
We got to learn the hard way.
Yes,
it seems guys like you and I can relate to that.
So, I never got along with my dad,
right.
Even though he was truly an amazing person. But, if I talk with the family, I don't say that, because me and him butted heads like you would not believe. And so I actually ran away from home when I was 16.
Wow.
I dropped out of high school, and I never went back and got my GED. I've lived my whole life day by day, and accepted what God's going to put in front of me. And I'm fortunate enough that God's always put me at the right place at the right time. I truly believe that my life, even though I've had a very extensive and busy life prior to meeting my wife, the day I met her, I believe that my life actually began.
Wow.
I'm going to start crying.
I got a thing for that.
Tissue paper.
I assure you, this has only been used for the face.
Yeah.
I'll get official. We'll get a budget one day here on Unmuzzled. We'll have a.
I'll bring you a tissue box.
Oh.
But what happened is I was all spun out on crystal meth.
Wow.
I mean, to the point where I was a superintendent for a big construction company. I made this guy millions and millions of dollars. I mean, I built high rises for him. I've done
Wow.
newspaper plants. I mean, I traveled all over the United States working for this guy,
Mm.
doing remodels, that kind of stuff. I did Cal Poly University, Broadway Southwest in Oakland and San Francisco at the same time. This is all before. Oh, my timelines gets all messed up because of my injury I just had. But
Right.
but I could tell you that I admire the guy that I was working for, because for him, he's the one that opened up opportunities for me, and I know that God put me in his place for a reason. But I was spun out on crystal meth so bad that I woke up one morning and my face was all swelled up because I literally took tweezers and plucked every hair off my face.
Oh my goodness.
My mustache, my beard, my eyebrows, my eyelashes, everything. I was just tweaking so bad on crystal meth that I was, it was scary, right? So I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, oh my gosh, I got to get away from this, right? So I called my boss up and I said, hey, look, I got a cocaine problem, because I didn't think you'd know what crystal meth was.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to take some time off. He goes, absolutely, son. You take whatever time you need, and give me a holler when you're ready to come back to work. So I took some time off, and I was off work for about a month. And in the meantime, I was doing little odd jobs here and there to earn some money. And one day I had my little brother. He helped me, and a couple of his friends helped me do a little demo job. And so I'm like, okay, come on, guys, I'll take you to the lake.
Mm.
Well, we were sitting there warming up the motor on the cruising up the lake at Canyon Lake up here in Mesa, and he all of a sudden we saw these girls trying to flag us down, and I thought the oldest was probably 13, and I was 24 at the time, and I was like, no way am I going to let that happen, right? But my little brother and his friends were 12, 13 years old, and they're like, come on, pick them up. So for them, I went ahead and picked them up, right?
Yeah.
And we were cruising around all day. I was teaching them how to water ski and that kind of stuff. And I think what attracted my wife to me is she had her hair in braids.
Mm-hmm.
And I helped get her braids out undone. And just the fact that a man knows how to do that. Well, I'm the only boy out of 5 kids.
Yeah.
And I was next to the oldest. And you just learn how to take care of things for women,
Yeah.
So I did that. And then about halfway through the day, I'm starting to freak out because, I love kids. I truly do. I think
But you were very mindful of that situation.
Yeah, because I was thinking, oh my gosh, if my kids were out on a boat half a day.
That's where you initially were like, no.
Yeah.
But your younger brother and
his friends.
Yeah. I mean, they were just at that age. Girls.
Yeah.
Come on, girls.
Well, I was still at that age too, but not for that age, right?
Right. Yeah, you were mindful.
And so I asked them, I go, oh my gosh, girls, aren't your parents going to get upset? They go, parents? We're not here with our parents. We're here on a company party. I go, well, shoot. How old are you?
Yeah.
She goes, 20. And I go, how you doing? I reached my hand out and shook her hand, and I go, my name's Bill.
Right.
Even though she's been with me for the half a day,
Right.
I mean, I finally introduced myself because I felt comfortable with it because she was old enough, right?
Right.
And so I literally asked her out right then. I go, man, we need to go out. And she says, let me think about it. So she hung out with us the rest of the day. And her friends kept saying, oh, them old guys are a lot of fun. You need to go out with this guy. He seems like he's a lot of fun. You need to go out with him. Because she was second guessing doing it, right? And she said, okay, yeah, I'll go out with you tonight. And so we went out that night. We had such a really good time that we went out the next night. And then on the third night, I asked her to marry me.
That's incredible.
And she told me, she looked up at me and she goes, you're crazy. I don't know if I ever want to see you again. Well, my heart was broken.
Right.
Because to be honest with you, it freaked me out how much I was attracted to her the minute I met her. because there's just a lot of weirdos out there, right?
Yeah.
And it was freaking me out that I was attracted to her.
Well, you're quite young yourself.
No, I know,
24.
I
Yeah.
know, but it was still kind of freaking me out. But then when she said yes, I was excited, right? So I was heart filled,
Mm.
and I know God put me there that day for a reason.
Well, to hear, and this is something we could dive into futuristically. Some of because we actually just had brunch, y'all. We're digesting a meal. I'm kind of trying to pinch myself. I should have put a tack on my shoe or something, keep myself alert. But wow, to share so many of these connections where you were basically gifted that boat, a very nice, but wow. I mean, do we even go there, or is that just getting
Yeah.
too derailed?
No, I mean, when I say
We need to get back to the
God's always taking care of me, always. I mean, without a doubt. I'm
Right.
so thankful every day. I wake up thanking Him for everything He's ever done for me.
right.
I to go back a little bit farther than that is I was given that boat. It was
Yes.
a 22-foot Hawaiian day cruiser, and it was owned by a farmer. And I come walking up to him and I go, "Hey, Ricky, that's a nice boat." He goes, "Yeah, you want it?" I go, "Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford that boat,
Right.
I was 16 years old, and
Wow.
he goes, "Seriously, if you want it, you can have it. It's got a blown motor in it, and
His
it
family.
almost my family was in there, and it started sinking, and I don't want my family in it no more. So you can have the boat." I go, "Well, shoot, I'm a mechanic. I'll rebuild it, right?"
Yeah.
And so I took the boat home, and it ended up being just a water pump. And when the water pump went out, it burned the baffles up in the back of the motor, and it started taking in water.
Yeah.
And so it rapidly started taking in water. So he got scared of it. So I went ahead and fixed all that stuff. It cost me like $12-15 to fix all the parts
That's
for it.
incredible.
And so I took the boat back to him and said, "Hey, Ricky, I showed him what happened and what was done." He says, "I don't care. I'm buying an outboard motor." He says, "I've already got the boat coming. I gave you the boat. It's yours."
What a man, Bill. He didn't even take it out and get some fun before going to deliver it back because he just knew morally, like, yeah, I just couldn't. That would weigh on your conscience. That's a pretty big act that a lot of folk wouldn't do. Oh, he gave me the boat. I'm gonna hush, hush, hush. And the fact you did that, and this man's like, no, I already got another boat on the way. It's yours. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
So that's another way of God aligning my
Aligning,
life.
meeting your wife.
Yes.
And all these things are, people go, oh, it's coincidental. You can fortune cookie and, this all step of the way, kind of thing. But it's just like, but as you've expressed more of the love you have for your wife and the way she's set you on that path.
Well, even though she told me I was crazy and didn't want to ever see me again, I was heartbroken.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
And I literally did not leave my room for a week. And a week later, I hear a knock on the door, and I open up the door, and there she is standing there.
Mom.
I go, "What are you doing here?" And she goes, "I don't know what you did to me, but I can't get you off my mind." So soon after that, we got married. Within a couple months, we were married.
That's a
And now we've been married 36 years.
wow.
Got 3 kids, and soon to have our 9th grandbaby.
Wow.
And I could tell you that I'm an extremely blessed person. So getting back to the crystal meth, right? I was sober when I met my wife, and I did not let her know that I used to do drugs. I did not tell her about all my bad things that were going on in my life. So I kind of hid that from her, and I'm sorry that I did, but thankful in the meantime, because when we tried making it, working around the place when I was struggling, trying to make ends meet, stuff like that. So I called my boss back up and I said, "Hey, look, I'm clean and sober. Can I come back to work?" Because I was explaining to her how much I was making. I was making over $100,000 a year back then. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Good money.
Yeah. And so he said, "Absolutely, come on back. I got a job I want you to run." So I was running several jobs. I did Cal Poly University. I did Broadway with my wife. Broadway Southwest. I did Oakland and in San Francisco at the same time. And so I've done a lot of work, right? But the problem is I got back on crystal meth
Mm.
because if you're around people that associate with it, you're gonna, it's eventually you're gonna break, right?
Right.
And while we were in Oakland, my wife, when I met my wife, she would burn macaroni and cheese. I mean, she's probably one of the worst cooks I've ever met. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. Right? And we were in Oakland, and right before Thanksgiving, I had a company meeting, explaining that they're going to have X amount of days off and that kind of stuff. So I had a whole bunch of people there because I was running both jobs, right? My wife comes strolling in and she goes, "Hi, everybody. I know there's a lot of you that's a long way from home, and if you don't have a place to go for Thanksgiving, why don't you come and join me, Bill?" I looked over at her like, "Are you kidding me? That's going to cost us a fortune, right?" So I went ahead and finished my meeting, and after the meeting, I go, "Baby, we can't afford to cater this. I mean, that's a lot of people."
Mm.
She goes, "Oh, I'm not going to cater it. I'm actually going to cook it myself." I just started smiling. I didn't say nothing to her because I loved her. I didn't want to offend her, but she couldn't cook, right?
Oh, wow.
And I was sitting there thinking to myself, well, at least we won't have to worry about anybody wanting to come over for dinner no more,
Gotcha.
And she was on the phone with my mom and her mom all day while we were working.
Mm.
And I got there and it smelt heavenly, and by far the best Thanksgiving dinner today.
Wow.
And since then, she's been an amazing cook.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing cook. So we were doing that, and then like I said, I got strung up on crystal meth again, and she keeps asking for some. I see you doing it all day, all day. I mean, I was going through probably an 8 ball a week. I mean, that's a lot of crystal meth.
Wow.
And she's like, "I just want to try it." And I kept telling her, "No, baby, because once you try it, I quit before, and I couldn't stay quit. Once you try it, it's hard to stop. And I don't want you on it." And one day I was working in Vegas, and she goes, "Look, I want to go home and visit my kids. I mean, not my kids, but my mom. And I'm going to stay a couple weeks. But I'm tired. I've been packing all day, getting the baby ready, all that kind of stuff." And she goes, "Can I have just enough to get me home? I see you working day and night on that stuff. Just give me enough to get me home."
Hmm.
And she convinced me to let her try it. So
Mm.
I gave her just a little bump. She goes, "Is that all? I see you doing these big old lines all the time."
Hmm.
I says, "It doesn't matter, baby. That's all you need to get you home."
Hmm.
She goes, "Okay." So she went home, and then 3 days later, I'm at the bottom of the building that we were working on and partying with all my friends, and all of a sudden this beautiful girl comes walking in the door. She's dressed to the nines. I mean, oh my gosh, she's just attractive, very attractive woman, right?
Wise woman.
Yeah. So she comes in, and I go, "What are you doing here?" And she goes, to be honest with you, I've already went up to the room, packed up all my bags. They're already loaded up in the car. And when I got it and set in the car and I was going to leave you, I figured I'd give you one chance, one shot at this. So you can either get up and come home with your family right now, or stay here with these motherfucking piece of shit friends of yours, just like
Wow.
that.
Wow.
And I looked at her, and I got up, and I was starting to walk out, and everybody's giving me a hard time. I said, "Are you kidding me, guys? I'd much rather be with her than any of you."
Wow.
So I left with her, and I never touched any drugs from that day forward. Now, I could tell you
That's a godsend.
that I was probably not the nicest person to be around for about a year because I was going through withdrawals and all kinds of stuff. I mean, I was not a nice guy.
I personally haven't, but I've seen how it just destroys lives. Like some of these substances out there
Yeah.
now.
But the problem of it is, it doesn't just destroy your life, it destroys everybody around you.
Yep.
I mean, it really does. But like I said about God taking care of me,
Yeah.
my boss that I worked for all those years prior to this, he calls me up about a year later and he goes, "Bill, are you back on that stuff again?" I go, "Absolutely not. I guarantee you my wife would lube me, and I can tell you that my wife's way more important than any drug out there." He said, "Great. That's exactly what I wanted to hear." I go, "Well, look, I can't work for you because there's drugs around there, and I can't be a part of it. If I'm around it, I might just do it again, and then I'll end up losing my family." He goes, no, no, no. I just want to talk to you. I haven't seen you in a while, and I just like to catch up with you. I said, okay. So I went over to his office in Phoenix, and he goes, what do you want to do with your life?
Hmm.
I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, if you had an opportunity to do anything, anything, I don't care. What would you do? Would you do construction? Would you do whatever? Whatever it is. Tell me, what would you do with your life? I said, to be honest with you, I really enjoyed doing farming, and I'd like to get back into harvesting. He goes, really? So what would it take if you wanted to do that? What would it take to get you back started?
Cotton?
Cotton harvesting.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cotton harvesting. So I told him,
Yeah.
and he wired that money in my account that day.
Wow.
He says, go and make it happen, and just pay me back when you can start making money. So I went out and I started building it, and then he would see that I was doing stuff, and so he kept loaning me more money and more money, and I kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I ended up being the fourth largest cotton harvester in the lower United States.
Wow.
And that's only because God put him in my life,
Right.
who put my wife in my life,
Mm-hmm.
the farmer. I mean, I'm so aligned with God, you would not believe. Not
Wow.
believe. Because, just like my psychologist told me one time, she goes, life is like a roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
Everybody, I don't care how rich or poor you are, it's like a roller coaster,
Yeah.
right? You have your ups and your downs, right?
Mm-hmm.
What defines who you are is when you're on your very bottom,
Mm-hmm.
hitting rock bottom, what are you willing to do to get back up again? That defines on who you are.
Wow.
And I've been a fighter my whole life. Me and my wife, we've been through lots of ups and downs.
Right.
Lots. Well, I got so big that I ended up having 7 companies.
Mm-hmm.
And by 2008, I had 7 companies doing almost $40 million a year.
Wow.
And when the market crashed, I lost them all. Lost them all. But I didn't lose my family. My wife and my kids follow me everywhere I've been.
Mm.
And I'm just a blessed person, and I thank God for that.
That's oh my gosh. It's hard for me to even put into words how you have had wild success. And you've come from pretty much nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then wild success, and it all taken away. But it's this gratitude you harbor, that it isn't about the materialistic things. It's essentially the choices we all have. And what is boiling down to, everyone's got their trials, just like you were so eloquently putting, relating to a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's got their challenges, and it's not even a competition. In a way, it's all equally yoked in a sense. They're their own challenges, but how you were able to look down at them and seize them as the opportunities that they are, and help you on staying the course of what's meaningful and purposeful in this life, and not losing sight of God and everything along that journey.
Well, the thing that I've learned is that, as you're going through the hardships of life, because we all have them. Okay?
Yes.
We all have them, right? As you're going through the hardships of life, there's a positive with every negative.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a positive. So when you're going through the worst times of your life, what do you have to think that you're thankful for?
Yeah.
And when you can't see none, because some people say, well, I don't have any. It's only because you're not looking hard enough.
Mm.
Everybody has them. Yeah. Before I lost everything, I did a lot of charity work. My kids were playing soccer one time out in Queen Creek. And the kids were, almost falling as they're running across the field and stuff like that, because it was so uneven and potholes and everything else. So I asked the school if I could fix it all. They go, well, yeah, but we don't have no money to pay. I said, I don't care. I'll do it for free. So I literally did their baseball fields, football fields, soccer fields. I put in all the backstops. I even put in all their playground equipment, all that stuff for free.
Mm.
I did the sprinklers. I had Rain for Rent I talked Rain for Rent into donating all this sprinkler equipment. American Fence donated all the fencing, background, that kind of stuff. Bank One Ballpark actually donated all the sod. And so I got all the materials for me for free, and all I had to do is put the labor into it, and I donated all the labor for that.
Wow.
Right? So next thing I know, I got all the schools calling me. Hey, Bill, come on over and see what we got. My name was on a plaque of 6 different schools in Queen Creek and 3 churches.
Wow.
Because I did all theirs and I did it all for free. Well, when I was doing that, I literally got interviewed, and I can't remember.
Now it's coming together in my mind as to these random blessings. The world needs more men like you. All of us, we're all broken, but you got a strength and you have a kind heart, and to do all this charitable work, of course you're going to be blessed in ways to be able to do that. That's wow.
Well, what was nice about it is they did a background check on me, and they go, look, you never went past 10th grade. You never got your GED. You never did any of that kind of stuff. You're a runaway from home, all these things. But yet you became so successful enough to be able to give everything away. Why? How did that all come? I told them, I says, I've never lived my life about money. And they go, what do you mean by that? I said, I've never focused on the money. It's never been my focus ever in life. They go, well, if money's not your focus and that's where you got successful, I need to find out what you're doing so that I could start making the kind of money you're making. I said, I never think of it about that. So I told them what I did, and they call it Bill's quote. And
Bill's quote. We'll see if we could get this up on the screen. If not, because it's live.
Yeah, they can't. Well,
Bill's quote. You want me to read it?
Absolutely.
Your success in life is what your willingness is to do for others. Is what your willingness is to do. Wow, I read this terribly.
Yeah. Your success in life is what your willingness is to do for others. So if you take your focus away from making money and start focusing on helping others, money always follows.
Right. Wow.
Because God always provides for you.
That.
Yeah. God always provides for you to maintain your focus, the true focus. The true focus is to help others.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then shortly after that, I lost everything. And I remember opening up a map and I asked the kids, and I was making pretty good money.
It's crazy. The mortal man will say, define lost everything, right? The mortal man, but the spiritual man
never loses anything.
Didn't lose anything. In fact, it just gained more resolve to what you didn't lose.
Yes.
Wow.
Because I never changed my focus from that point on.
Right.
So I've always felt like I was the richest man in the world. Matter of fact, what's his name? Country western singer. He has a song called "The Millionaire."
Okay.
Chris Stapleton.
Okay.
Right. I get chills every time I hear that song because I feel like it's been my life with my wife.
Interesting. Okay.
How you don't have to have money to be rich.
Right.
All you have to have is love for someone else. And so I don't know. I'm even though I've been through a lot of things in my life, I'm happy. I'm blessed.
Wow.
I keep asking my wife over and over again because I guarantee you I put her through some stuff.
Right.
I mean, I really have. With all my injuries and everything else, I mean, I literally put her through a lot. And she's stuck at my side. And I even asked her a couple nights ago, baby, why did you stay with me? Through all this stuff. And she goes, are you serious? I love you. You're a one and done. If something happens to you, I will never remarry because I don't know if anybody could take your place.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm definitely a blessed person.
Yeah. If we could somehow tap into that, and we are. And that's why I'm so grateful, like walking up and how I was blessed walking up to that very conversation and meeting you I just hope the listeners can in a way tap into that too, because the more we can tap into this love for one another and willingness to live selflessly and for others, we have everything to gain. We can improve the quality of life all around us, from our city life, our national stage, the world stage, and we can root out a lot of this evil that has been happening, and not even in this like war style way. I mean, to certain extents, I mean, who knows what it's gonna certain things may boil down to, but that should be the start. And I truly feel if we're efficient and successful at that, that's all that needs to take place here, right?
Well, I can assure you,
Yeah.
the simplest things in life
Mm.
makes the biggest difference.
Mm.
As you're walking through the store, instead of putting your head down and, rah, I got to get this, I got to get that, get this.
Yes.
Look up. When you see somebody, smile at them.
Yeah.
Say, how you doing? You'd be
Yes.
surprised how many people react back. Doing great. How about you?
Right.
And you don't know what's going through their mind at that day
Right.
or even the minute. You know what I mean? But it might be that smile that takes it away from where they're at.
Shifts their whole day.
Yeah. And if we get enough people doing that, just think where the world's going to be.
Right.
I mean, it's all got to start somewhere, right? Because right now, at the path of where we're going right now with everything with our governments and some of the choices that are made out there, and how everything's run by pharmaceutical companies and all this other garbage, right?
Right.
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, you can go for hours on that.
Oh yeah. Endless.
Yeah, when you start talking politics and all that other stuff, but it's definitely endless. But there is actually a simple solution for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if you don't believe in God, right?
Right.
Believe in yourself.
Mm.
Because you know what? God put us here for a reason.
Right.
And if you believe in yourself and show that you believe in yourself, people see it.
Yeah.
They see the energy that you're producing.
Right.
They want to be a part of it. They want a piece of it.
And it's interesting as men, I mean, we constantly get tested. That's why this is a forever work. It's why I love the profound lessons even with fitness in the gym.
Yeah.
Like if you're not working on this type of intentional kindness, intentional spiritual walk, intentional refining oneself and improving, becoming the best version of you, you get soft, you get malleable, you get manipulated, because evil is real, and that's the plan, to seeking to destroy, deceive. What's the other one? There's like 3 things, but it's often slip me. Someone out there's yelling it. And I probably will be that someone on future listening. This is too fun. But my gosh. Oh, I had a whole nother point there.
Well, I can assure you, with all my injuries, I mean, literally,
That's what I was going to touch.
Yes. My son raced for KTM, right?
Okay,
and
cool.
It was ranked, I think, 4th or 5th in the state, for his class.
Okay.
And one day we were out at the track out here in Queen Creek, and I'm like, I'm going to catch that little kid.
Oh, there we go.
And so I come around a corner, and I hit a 60-foot tabletop so hard that I hit the face of the second tabletop.
What were you thinking?
Yeah.
I won't even hit those.
Yeah.
I've been riding almost my whole life.
I've hit jumps and stuff all the time, but I was way over aggressive, right?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. So what happened is I actually had a handlebars go through my chest,
Jeez.
came out to my back, and then when it came back out, it popped my collarbone up underneath my neck, and my lung came out and literally sat on top of my shoulder. I'm sitting there looking over it, watching it go up and down.
Oh my gosh.
My lung came out of my rib cage. And the EMTs come running up, and they're getting ready to try to take my helmet off, but I can hear every time I go, my lung would go up and down. I can hear click, 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 click. I'm awake through it all, right?
Wow.
And I told him, I said, look, you touch my helmet, I'll sue you. Get me to the hospital and cut it off of me, because I think I broke my neck. I didn't know. I just hear noises, right? And then the helicopter shows up, and they're trying to take my helmet. I said, "Don't take my helmet off, please. Strap me to a board, get me to the hospital,
Yeah.
and take care of it." And what happened is when the handlebars went through my chest, my lung came out. I guess they tried putting it back in, but every time I cough, my lung would pop back out
Oh
again.
my god.
And believe it or not, the one that was out of my chest is the one that kept me alive because then during the impact, the other one collapsed.
No way.
So the one lung that I had was actually out of my rib cage.
That's wild.
Yeah, matter of fact, the doctors told me that I'm the only living mammal at that time that's ever survived that.
No way.
Having a lung out of your rib cage.
Huh.
And so I'm, so I get some doctor came in from Europe and said, "Why don't we try using hernia mesh?
Mm.
The mesh they use to tie hernias together."
Okay.
They did and tied all my ribs together.
Wow.
So still today, my ribs float. They go in and out. They just float.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
He's pressing in on his his hands disappearing.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
but yet I'm still surviving, breathing, and doing well. I mean, when I was telling you that I've added a lot of challenges to my wife, for my wife.
Yeah.
I mean, with all the stuff that's happened to me in my life, I'm just thankful that God's.
I guess that's the point with some of the things you shared that I was trying to grasp of everyone having their challenges, and because you'd like to say after meeting your wife and after quitting the drugs that, whoa, onward, upward, and in a lot of ways, sure,
Yeah.
sure, like your life undoubtedly due to those choices and choosing the better path, right? That's doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get easier. Is it a more blessed path? Absolutely. And that's where you've come to a place of peace, happiness, wisdom, right? Is by going down that path. But undoubtedly life happens, evil situation, all sorts of things, right? And you physically end up challenged. And then there was one with a head trauma.
Yeah, I had.
Is that the one that got you to a suicidal place?
Yes. But even before then, I was on my wife's 21st birthday. We went to. I have a very addictive personality, so she wanted to go to the casino, which when we was living up in Oakland, right? And on the way there, I saw places hot apple pies, blah blah. So we get to the casino, and I'm like, "Baby, I don't feel comfortable here." Right, because I don't want to gamble my life away, right? And so she goes, "Well, let's go back to Auburn where they had the hot apple pies. Get us a room and just enjoy that." I said, "Perfect." So we get there, and we're at the hotel, and I went to lean up against the railing, and the railing wasn't bolted down,
Oh boy.
and I fell off the mezzanine floor and hit the parking curb right across C7 and broke my neck.
Jiminy, very good.
I mean, there's stories upon stories, but the last one that happened to me, I was working for a friend of mine. It was actually the best man at my wedding.
Mm.
I mean, I was working for him, and I was running the jobs for him. I was a field manager, and I was showing a kid how to run a piece of equipment. And when I did, something happened, and the equipment fell over, and I ended up hitting my head so hard that I had a brain bleed for 5 days.
Mm.
And,
That's serious.
And the problem with that was, as full as my life has been, I could not remember a single thing prior to that, and still today. My wife says when we lost everything, we moved to Colorado Springs. I can remember bits and pieces of Colorado Springs, but not all of it. I mean, I guess we lived in 3 different houses. I don't remember them.
It's going to be, that's what's interesting with head trauma. You don't know what you can't remember, know, and then you have these random moments and situations that will arise or a certain picture, and then someone's like, even faces, I mean, all sorts of things, and it's just, it's pretty unsettling.
Yeah.
And
so what happened is I had a friend of mine comes up to me, and he says, "Bill, you need to be on these products." I go, "Oh, man, good luck with all that," because everybody's got a product, right?
yes.
And so I got, "Nah, no thank you." So what he did is he went behind my back and told my wife that he would give me the products. So he actually paid for me to be on the products for at least a year.
Wow.
right? And it'd probably still be paying for me to be on the product, except for I told him we'd do it ourselves, right? But he got me on these products, and I truly believe they saved my life.
Mm.
I truly believe they do. A year to a year and a half ago, I tried hanging a ceiling fan. I've been in construction my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I tried hanging a ceiling fan. I couldn't do it. I tried adding the outlet for my dryer and ended up burning up 3 dryers in 3 days. And my neighbor came over and showed me what I was doing wrong. I added 220 to a 110. I've been around construction my whole life.
Yeah. Mm.
I tried my employer, which was my best friend. I trusted this guy, right? He literally hired somebody to come in and give me a physical on my second day there, right? And I go, and I don't remember when it was in court because I ended up suing him.
Mm.
When it was in court, that came up, and they said that they gave me a complete physical and told me I was ready to go back to work on my second day here. But yet I had a brain bleed for 5 days. How did that even happen, for one?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember it, for two.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, my life has been through lots and lots and lots of roller coasters. Right. So
Maybe some of the deeper challenges say, I don't know if it's something, because to wrap up on like this product,
Mhm.
I'm so excited to even try it. I'm so
Oh.
excited to look into it. I'm so excited to plug it and share it and have people look into it even for themselves, because anything that could help improve a quality of life improves everything. If you don't have your health, you don't have like anything in life. And it's wild from my head trauma experiences in life. Like it's
Well, what's nice about it is the first product, right? The main ingredient that they started the company with is a product called Protanum.
Okay.
The scientific name of it is NRF2. It's what it does. It lowers your oxidative stress by 40% in less than 30 days. I mean, if you think about it, oxidative stress is a precursor to everything.
Okay.
I mean, and it lowers it by 40%. There's been so many people that say that that's virtually impossible,
Mm-hmm.
including a bunch of colleges and American Heart Association. I mean, even Primetime News tried to. Thank you. Primetime News even tried to dispute it.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, and so that what they did is they came in and they did their blood work, and then they went on the products, and they're supposed to be on the product for 30 days to get the full effects of it, right?
Yeah.
And 2 weeks later, they came back and they said, "Okay, let's check my blood again," because they want to dispute it. I mean, they want to make it say it's all fake, blah blah blah.
I
blah,
wonder why.
Blah. Yeah.
Who pays their bills, I wonder.
Me too. Right.
You know?
Well, they went ahead and did their blood, and after 2 weeks, it lowered his oxidative stress by 40 some odd %. So now Primetime News backs it. They even did a video that I'd be more than happy to show anybody that how his whole outcome became.
Yeah.
But then they came out with they have a drink called Oxio, right? Now I'm struggling with memory and all kinds of stuff. Oxio was invented because they're tired of the Red Bulls and all that other stuff.
Right.
So what they did is they came out with an energy drink that actually gives you energy through mental focus.
Interesting. I need to try that one.
Yeah, so I literally drink 2 or 3 of those a day.
Wow.
I mean, it's less than $2 a drink. Holy cow, that's cheaper than a Red Bull.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's definitely
They're
worth
pretty tasty.
Well, they come in 5 different flavors.
All right. Man, I should have had you bring some.
I know.
No.
Well, I might even have some out in the truck. So
Okay.
then they came out with a liquid collagen, right? Now,
Okay.
Liquid collagen literally has 10 strains of collagen in it, where most products out there, they got 4 or 3 or
Oh,
7,
wow.
6.
I
It's
hear
got 10 strains of
a lot
collagen,
of
but that's not even the most positive thing about it.
Right.
They call themselves an activation company because all their products activate the body within. Right? That's where you get your health from, is by reactivating what God already gave us.
Yeah.
So what it does is it literally activates the collagen, so your body starts producing collagen again. So there's a lot. I mean, they got a lot of different products, and I'm telling you, I take them all, because I even do the hair products. You know, when they told me that they have a hair product, I go, great. They go, well, the most it might make your hair turn black. You get your color back from going, gray from being old and stuff like that. Well, my hair is actually growing back.
Yeah, you showed me a picture of where you were before. It's pretty
within
clear.
2 years, I mean, you notice a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love everything about the company. I'm truly a product of the product because I try not to miss anything with them. I take all their products. As a matter of fact, that one of the formulators used to be a chemist for a pharmaceutical company, and she didn't like the way it was going, so she switched over to me and started formulating stuff for our company. One of the products, they actually asked me if I'd be on it with all my injuries. They asked me if I'd be on it and try it out before anybody else did. Well, I did, and I could tell you it's amazing. What it's called is rise and reset. Where they found out that your body can only take in certain minerals in the morning and certain minerals at night. So they have two separate vitamins. It's called rise and reset. So there's certain pills you take in the morning and certain pills you take at night. Well, within less than a month after being on those, even before it even hit the market, my psychologist was asking me if I was back on drugs, because you got to give your whole life history and that kind of stuff, because my energy and my activities and my positiveness and all that kind of stuff. And I said, no, all I'm doing is taking these products. So I started telling her about the products, and now she pulled me off all my psych meds.
Wow. This is all over the counter, kind of like holistic.
Oh, yeah. It's all 100% natural.
Yeah.
And it's all over the counter.
Well, I'll definitely have to look into that.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing stuff. All I know is that I feel like it saved my life. If you think about it.
One.
Yeah. If you think about it, well, that and maybe with all of them, because I've had a lot of injuries. But I can tell you, if you met me walking down the street, you'd never know that there was anything wrong with me. I'm still having issues though. I mean, it's not like it's all gone away.
Right.
I mean, where I used to go blind 3 or 4 times a day, I'm going blind maybe once every 2 to 3 months. I still have issues with my dizziness because I'll get to the point where I can't walk. And as a matter of fact, I just had one last week. I had a point where a friend asked me if I'd help drive a truck to make a delivery for him because his driver couldn't make it. So I did that, and by the time I got there, I couldn't even get out of the truck. And my wife actually had to come and get me, and then he had to get somebody else to drive the truck home. And when my wife pulled up, I'm laying on the sidewalk. So that's what I'm saying. I put my wife there a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm laying on the sidewalk, and it took 2 guys to help get me up so I could actually get into my car.
Wow.
That was just last week. So even though I look and smile and I think everything's going good, because you know what? I honestly believe it is. With everything that I'm going through right now, that I finally got to a point where I've just accepted that this is me. I might be living with this for the rest of my life.
Right.
But why am I so upset? Because I used to be. I was mad. Why am I having to go through it? With all the good things I've ever done in my life, all I've ever done is care about others. Why am I? Why are you doing this to me, God? Right? Then I just started thinking, I got my grandbabies call me every morning to say hi. Every morning. I got my kids calling and checking on me. I got friends from all over the world. I got a friend of mine that literally, when I went like 4 months where I couldn't walk, right? And he literally shut his construction company down in Denver and lived in my spare room for 4 months, and then bought the house next to me so he can take care of me. Why am I so pissed off? I'm still the most blessed guy there is. God surrounded me with all these amazing, amazing friends you would not believe. So even though I'm still struggling with life sometimes, it's a different struggle. And I've accepted that, this might be my life for the rest of my life. But yet, I got a beautiful, full life ahead of me. Yeah. And I thank God for all that.
Wow. What you just captured. Yeah, to be excited. I mean, man, wouldn't it be so bland and boring if everything was all perfect? To have those lows and those moments where you're almost questioning God, this and that, and then, well, have you been going to the gym spiritually lately? And then you kind of put it all together and things shift, and it's just what a beautiful walk. I mean,
well, life is what you make out of it.
Yes.
Right. where it's real easy to blame everybody and everything around you
Yes.
on what's going wrong.
But that's to your detriment, folks.
Absolutely.
You could point that
Because
finger. That's really
as
easy.
long as I was living in my self pity. I was struggling with life. Period. I mean, I was still kind of suicidal,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. But when I finally accepted that, you know what? Even though I got problems and I'm having struggles in life still, I'm still the most blessed person in the world.
Right.
I mean, I really am. I got a wife that literally checks on me throughout the day. Billy, you okay? All right? You know, I got friends that call and check on me, and I got my mom bought a house right down the street from me. I mean, I got people surrounding me and wanting to take care of me. I said, I could tell you that I am so blessed. It's ridiculous, and I wouldn't be there right now. I honestly don't think that I would be here right now if it wasn't for God putting these people in my life.
Wow. What would you suppose would be beneficial for others in those dark moments to hear right now from you? Like, what helped you get through those moments where it made you question your faith even?
Stop thinking it's all about you.
Mm.
Start thinking that it's not just you.
Mhm.
It's everybody around you, right? And the effect that you're going through, they're living it too. You might not see it because they're trying to make it to where you don't see it so that you'd have a better life. But you're affecting everybody around you. So stop making it about you.
Mm.
And so once I started redirecting my life, that it's about others, you know,
Mm.
it takes my mind off of me. I mean, I went out and got peer certified so I can help people with drama and drug abuse and that kind of stuff. I literally just got peer certified a few months ago.
Wow.
And my goal is to try to help others that's going through the same thing that I'm going through or have been through. I mean, God gave me a full life, and I think He gave me a full life for a reason.
Okay.
And I think it's so
Yeah.
that I can. There's not a situation out there that I haven't been through. I was diagnosed bipolar, psychotic, all kinds of stuff. If there's a diagnosis, I've got it, right? But yet, I'm making it through.
Yeah.
I've I've chosen the better path, and once I've accepted the better path, that all these things that I've been through in my life and all the trauma and all that other stuff is so that maybe I can help others out there.
Isn't it interesting how it can all be strengthening,
Yeah.
right?
You know.
Just
So take the focus out of yourself
mm.
and start turning the focus on somebody else and on their needs, because we all have them.
Yeah.
You might not see it, but we all have problems, right? So if you could take the focus out of you and start turning the focus on others, you don't think about yours as much.
Yeah, in the smallest of ways, to just pull out some paper, put pen to paper, just as simple as going through, and it's hard in those darkest hours. It really is to be expressing gratitude. It seems silly, but it's a powerful tool. Just start expressing some gratitude, like, you know what, I do love my dog. You know what, I do, and you could just go through the things. I do get that the comparison, when you seek it for yourself, it becomes completely different. Once I kind of have a problem personally with someone else coming into a situation when I'm down and low, and they point out the gentleman without legs and be like, James bootstraps, man. I kind of have a problem that rubs me, and
Yeah.
it kind of has an adverse effect for me.
Yeah.
But when people seek that within themselves, just, you know what? And what is it? What is it that's like making me feel this way? And there could be all these attributors. Okay, so if it's finances here and all these legs that are standing up, let's just say this depressive state, start identifying those and knocking them out. And so much of it, like, is from the, say, health side of things. I don't even want to say mental health side of things, because I feel like that So, like, it's interesting to hear that it seems like through these supplements and things that nature all of a sudden get you off all these other drugs and like pharmaceuticals and eh, all sorts of things. So it's important to just start identifying, taking these little steps, being grateful that, hey, you are at least as functioning as you are, and you can be open to certain individuals and just being vulnerable because it sounds like God has put amazing people. So to look around you, listeners, and see who God's put in your life that could help champion this battle you're faced with and and seek some answers and just taking these baby steps, and eventually one of these steps is going to just be lead to, ooh, this feels good, I'm going to go further down. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is what you have to do is accept that you have a problem. But guess what? Realize that you're not the only one.
Yeah.
We all have them, right? Some are a little bit more severe than others. So once you realize that you have a problem, what are you doing to fix that? I mean, are you reaching out for help?
Right.
And if the help that's be assigned to you, because I've been assigned a bunch of different people, if it's not into what you believe, look for more. Just because somebody says this is what it's got to be, doesn't mean you know yourself way better than anybody else does, right? So as you're get a feel for who you are. You know what I mean? Try to understand where you are and where you're coming from, and know that you're having a problem, right? And just because you're having a problem doesn't mean anything, right? Look out for help, and if, like I said, if the help that you seek, because with our society right now, that says, okay, this is your primary care, this is this is that. I'm fixing to go on my fourth neurologist. Fourth neurologist.
Wow.
And because I didn't like the path they were going to take me. The first one, it was from Barrows. With all the things that I'm going through, they were saying it's all seizures. So what they did is they did an EEG on me, right? A 1 hour EEG. That's where they map your brain. And they didn't have anything on there. And I read the report, right? It says that I'm not having seizures. But they wanted to put me on seizure medicines. I said, no, I ain't going to put, are you kidding me? Why would I go on seizure medicine if I'm not having seizures? Right? They said, well, let's do a 72-hour one. So I actually did. I wear a hat with a bunch of wires on my scalp.
Oh, man.
For 72 hours.
Interesting.
And during that time, they did a reading on me, right? When it was all over with, they go, well, yep, we need to get you on seizure medicine. I said, wait a second. Did you see any seizures? Well, you're having seizure-like episodes. I go, whoa. What does a seizure-like episode mean to you? And they go, well, you're having seizure-like episodes. We want you on seizure medicine. I said, look, if you can prove that I'm having seizures, well, your wife says you have deja vus and stuff like that, which I do, right?
Yeah.
Time to time, right?
Yep.
And but they go, well, that's a seizure. I said, well, okay. I don't see that, because everybody sees something. They go, wow, did I do that before, or was I been there? I'm not the only one.
I like where you're going with this, where you're listening to your gut.
Yes.
So yes.
I went to get a second opinion, right? So I went to another doctor, and I go into the office, and the first thing out of his mouth was, yeah, I read the report, and you need to be on seizure medicine. I said, you're not even going to look at me? You're not going to examine me? You're not even going to ask me a single question, and you're going to put me on seizure medicines? Good luck with that, right? He goes, well, I'm going to prescribe it for you, and if you don't take them, well, then I'm going to report it, right? Now, if they report it, I lose my driving privileges.
Wow.
Right? Because you're not allowed to drive on seizures. With seizures. I go, yep. Was I having seizures? Well, it says right here that you need to be on seizure medicine because you had a TBI. I go, whoa. Am I having seizures? And I got so upset that I walked out, right? And I told him, so he went ahead and prescribed me some seizure medicines and sent it to my house. And I took them and I threw them away, right? And I told the nurse there, I said, look, if he ever wants to actually check me out, well, then maybe I'll talk to him. But until then, I have nothing more to say. So She calls me up a couple days later and says, "Okay, we want to do another EEG on you." So this makes my third one. They're trying to prove that I'm sick, right? They did a third one, right? So I did it, and I was going back. Last week I went there for evaluation, right? And I go, "Wow, so what's the outcome?" She goes, "Were you on seizure medicines when you did this EEG?" And I said, "No, I told you guys. Aren't you listening?
No.
I'm not going to go on medication just because you want me on it.
Right.
If I need them, I'll go on them. I'm not afraid of taking them, right? When I had high blood pressure, I took high blood pressure pills, right? So it's not that I don't want to fix the problem, but
They
if there's
couldn't
not a
even
problem,
give you a definitive explanation or an answer to your very reasonable question. So therefore, red flag, and I'm not going to stay ignorant to the situation. I'm going to have a conversation and speak out, and more red flags kept coming up.
yeah. So I go, "You don't understand. If you tell me that I'm having seizures, well, then I can't drive." And I cherish the ability to go and see my grandkids and
Right.
visit my wife when she's at work and that kind of stuff. I says, I enjoy driving. I enjoy going after groceries and that kind of stuff.
Right.
I go, "So if you report me as having seizures, well, then I'll have to get my wife to come and get me." She goes, "Well, it's a non-reporting state, but I could tell you that if you were having seizures, I would report it." I said, "Oh, I like the way this is going."
Mm.
So you're physically telling me that I'm not having seizures. Well, you have a lot of brain activities and abnormal activities at night and blah, 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 blah. Whoa, 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 whoa. Am I having seizures? I want an answer from you right now. And she goes, "No, you are not. But I still want you on it for preventative." I just started laughing. Are you kidding me?
Mm.
You want me to, because the medication they have will put me back on the couch. Right.
I wonder, and to them, it may just be, I wonder what they're billing the insurance.
Oh,
I wonder that pharmaceutical.
The pharmaceutical companies pay these doctors for prescribing different things.
Yes.
So it's for a paycheck. It's not about helping me.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm not on it. She finally admitted that I'm not having seizures. She goes, "Well, did you do your blood work?" And I go, "Oh, you never asked me to do blood work." She goes, "Well, we want to see where your blood's at because they want to see if I'm on drugs or any of that kind of stuff, which I'm not." So I said, "Look, I'll go get my blood work done. I have no problems with that." So I went and got my blood work done, and I haven't got the results back from that. But all the paperwork on it wants to know if I'm the test to see if I'm having epilepsy or blah 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 blah. They're trying to find a way to drug me up.
Well,
But I feel healthier now than I ever have, even though yes, I am having issues, right? But the issues came from my TBI,
right.
not because of anything else, and I'm working through it. But it's a process.
There's so many things out there. Have you heard about like hyperbaric oxygen therapies? And,
yeah. Oh, and I got a friend of mine, Sean Johnson. She's got this thing where she would clip these little clips onto my. I was told about it, right? So I went to go there to have therapy the first time, and clips these clips on there, and she sends a radio frequency through my body to activate the cells in my body so they can start producing cells so they can heal. Right.
Interesting.
And we hit it off so good, she's never charged me. I've had several visits with her. She won't charge me.
So you've done quite a few different.
I've done that. I've done stem cells. I got a friend of mine that took me down to Tijuana. And
it's paying out all these little steps that you've done from where you were to where you are. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's kind of the same
I did
for me.
stem cells right afterwards, and my friend did. This is not something that workman's comp should have covered.
Right.
Covered. He literally took me over to Tijuana for a week, and I was doing stem cell injections and stuff like that for a week. Cost him $8,000, and he paid for it out of his own pocket. So all the help I've gotten, none of it came from workman's comp. They've never paid for me to have any therapy.
Right.
Right. So I took him to court. Right.
Oh wow.
And when it went to court, my attorney, I kept telling him, I said, "Look, subpoena the emails, subpoena the text messages, all this stuff there. I was telling him I was wanting to kill myself and all this other stuff." And because he was my friend that I was working for, he was literally the best man at my wedding. So I loved the guy and I trusted him. And my attorney kept saying, "No, we don't need that. We don't need that." He goes, "It's a slam dunk case. Don't worry about it." So when it went to court, I didn't even have a neurologist that he assigned. I went to the neurologist that they assigned. And when I went to court, it was during pandemic, so it was all televised.
Mm.
And the neurologist said that when he interviewed me, he said that I was faking it and that I'm an unsociable cutter. And I'm looking at my arms going, really? Unsociable cutter, huh? I got over 1,100 phone numbers in my phone and not a scar on my body. So how does that make me unsociable for one and a cutter for another?
Yeah.
And then so I kept trying to chime in, and my attorney kept blocking me.
Hmm.
And anyways, I ended up firing him, and I lost the case. And
Interesting.
yeah, so through all that, it's just been I've been through a lot of challenges in my life.
Wow. It's such a roller coaster, and it's so tough. It's so tough. I know for me, amongst my darkest, not even, yeah, some of my darkest hours was having to face that man in the mirror and essentially ask him, "Do you value this life?" And a lot of those moments, it was weak, very subtle, yes, and that's sad, but hey, it's a start, right? But yes, I do value this life. All of a sudden, like in those moments, so dating back over 6 years, during my latest head trauma, I realized even with that weak yes, what that meant. That meant buy alcohol, buy,
Mm-hmm.
and all that other stuff, and a lot of my lifestyle, all sorts of things, just out the gate. But it's interesting as you take those steps, you seek meaning, purpose, understanding, because we're all
Oh.
visitors here, and you just start like learning, and you're going down these paths, and next thing you know is like, you know what, facing that man in the mirror is like, frick yes, I care about this life, I do.
Yes.
And
yes.
it gets in ways more challenging, in ways you want to say, I mean, curses. No, I'm grateful that there's some people that make these hard decisions, and whoosh, their life just takes off, and it's just this beautiful story. Sadly, folks, don't get your hopes up like that. But undoubtedly, it set me on a course. I'm extremely, like you, blessed.
Yes.
And I'm still in the midst of it. I'm still fighting. I'm sure to an extent head traumas. I'm to an extent Lyme disease. To an extent maybe some unknown things, right? That's where if we're not taking action on these things and being excitable about it all, like how are we ever really going to know? How are we going to fall into the best versions of ourselves? So to face yourselves in the mirror and genuinely ask, do I value this existence? Then hopefully it ends up being a resounding frick yes, to where you start facing yourself and what it's going to take to be the best version of you here. And it should lead to a level of selflessness. It should, because it's crazy. You mentioned that, oh, what was it, that we could look at ourselves like no one knows us better than ourselves. Dare I say, I know someone that knows us each individually better than we even can begin to describe ourselves, and it is our Creator. And I know personally, and whether that resonates with certain individuals in the midst of their journey, because I know myself, there could be someone outwardly expressing exactly what I'm expressing right now, and in those moments, zero resignation. Like it's just not. I don't feel it. I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude. But when you experience it, and the love our Creator has for every one of us, like, and the more you can seek that humbling, eat some humble pie, as I say it, and then come from a level of meekness and seek that understanding and go down that road, like you just won't know. You just won't know until you go down that road. And I'm telling you, it's for your betterment. like all sorts of healing, all sorts of blessings. Things just align. I meet people, men, strong men like you, that build me up that much more, that give me more resolve and more excitement to go even further down this road. Not even a road anymore. It's a mountain I'm excited to climb.
Absolutely.
Right.
And guess what? You're just taking one step at a time.
Yeah.
One step at a time. It's not like you're going to try to jump to the top. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because on your steps up, you're learning, you're processing, and you're teaching. Thank you for this afternoon.
Bill, thank you for this afternoon. It was such a gift. Meeting you then, meeting you now. You have an energy about you. You have a gift. Your work here isn't done, my man. I think it's just beginning, right? For all of us here in this era, in this day and age, wow. Let's just set down all our weapons and weaponized words and all these polarizations, and let's communicate. Let's start looking at each other out of love versus enemies. Are you kidding me? When you set these things down, you start to see like all our interests and values in a way are more so in alignment than we all even can acknowledge, just because evil's been so effective on all this division. So
let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
You know how pay it forward works, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I challenge everybody out there.
Perfect.
Touch one life.
One life.
That's all I ask. Touch one life in a positive outlook.
Yes.
And see what it does for them. And see if it doesn't inspire them to touch one more. And see what happens in the world if we all just give it one try.
I love that. Pay it forward, y'all. You heard it from Bill himself. Give it up for Bill. Love you guys. Thank you for joining. Be sure to accept that challenge. And be sure to support us. Let's share this. Follow. Let's kick this off. Let's create a community. Let's ensure a better tomorrow. Love you. Bless you. Till next time.